You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we take a look back at some of the iconic Ashes moments from the WACA. It's the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast, and let's get started. Over the years, we have seen many great Ashes moments, and those moments are forever in our minds. During this Ashes series, we are looking back at some of the most iconic Ashes moments from the Gabba, the Adelaide Oval, the MCG, the SCG, and the WACA. Today, we take a look back at some iconic Ashes moments from the WACA. Our first Ashes moment from the WACA is where Adam Gilchrist smashed a 57-ball century against England in the third Ashes test of the 2006-7 Ashes series. Australia batted first and made 244 all out, with Michael Hussey top scoring with 74 not out. England were bowled out for 215 in their first innings, with Kevin Pietersen top scoring with 70. Australia made 5 for 527 declared in their second innings to set England 557 runs to win. Michael Clarke top scored with 135, but it was Adam Gilchrist who stole the show, smashing his century in 57 balls to finish on 102 not out. England were bowled out for 350 in their second innings, with Alastair top scoring with 116. Australia won by 206 runs and won the 2006-7 Ashes series 5-0. Our next Ashes moment from the WACA saw Doug Walters score a century in the session during the second test of the 1974-75 Ashes series. At the WACA ground during the 1974-75 series, he gave them all a reason to cheer when he struck the last ball of the second day's play for 6, to not only bring up his century, but to also record 100 runs in a session. Let's recap the match. England batted first and made 208 all out in their first innings. David Lloyd top scored with 49. Australia made 481 all out in their first innings, with Ross Edwards top scoring with 115. England were bowled out for 293 in their second innings to set Australia 21 runs to win. Fred Tipnis top scored with 61. Australia finished on 1 for 23 to win by 9 wickets, with Ian Redpath top scoring with 12 not out. Australia went on to win the 1974-75 Ashes series 4-1. Our next Ashes moment from the WACA is where a young Greg Chappell scored a century on Test debut. Perth's WACA ground hosted its first Test match in December 1970, when it staged the second Ashes Test of the 1970-71 series. Perth's international debut coincided with the arrival of Greg Chappell, a tall, elegant and upright batsman who made his debut at number 7. Despite being just 22 years of age, he looked like a seasoned campaigner as he stroked his way to a memorable 108. Let's recap the match. England batted first and made 397 all out in their first innings. Brian Luckhurst top scored with 131. Australia were bowled out for 440 in their first innings, with Ian Redpath top scoring with 171 and Greg Chappell chipped in with his 108 on Test debut. England made 6 for 287 declared in their second innings to set Australia 245 runs to win. John Edridge top scored with 115 not out. Australia finished on 3 for 100 as the game ended in a draw. Bill Lawry top scored with 38 not out. England went on to win the 1970-71 Ashes series 2-0. Our next Ashes moment from the WACA is when Dennis Lillee came out to bat with an aluminium bat during the second Ashes test in the 1978-79 Ashes series. Coming out to bat with the score at 232 for 8 at the start of the second day's play, he arrived not with willow, but with the metal blade. At the time, there were no rules that forbade the use of such a bat. However, there were immediately complaints from both captains. Greg Chappell believed that the aluminium bat option was generating less power, while Mike Brearley argued that it damaged the leather on the ball. Lillee would eventually continue his innings with a traditional wooden option, but only after a lengthy discussion between captain and umpires, which had seen Brearley's complaint upheld. Let's recap the match. Australia batted first and made 244 all out in their first innings. Kim Hughes top scored with 99. England were bowled out for 228 in their first innings, with Mark Brearley top scoring with 64. Australia were bowled out for 337 in their second innings, setting England 354 runs to win. Alan Border top scored with 115. England were bowled out for 215, with Jeffrey Boycott top scoring with 99 not out. Australia won by 138 runs, and Australia went on to win the 1978-79 Ashes series 3-0. Our final Ashes moment from the WACA saw Ryan Harris bowl one of Ashes cricket's greatest deliveries when he dismissed Alastair Cook, first ball of England's second innings in the third Ashes test in the 2013-14 series. With a 2-0 lead, Australia just needed one more win to reclaim the Ashes. Australia batted first and made 385 all out in their first innings. Steve Smith top scored with 111. England were bowled out for 251 in their first innings, with Alastair Cook top scoring with 72. Australia made 6 for 369 declared in their second innings to set England 504 runs to win. David Warner top scored with 112. Alastair Cook was bowled first ball of the innings by Ryan Harris, who delivered the best ever ball in Ashes cricket history. England were bowled out for 353 in their second innings, with Ben Stokes top scoring with 120. Australia won by 150 runs and won the 2013-14 Ashes series 5-0. Those are just some of the iconic Ashes moments over the years from the WACA. What are your favourite Ashes moments from the WACA? Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast, and like and share our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Until next time, keep safe, and bye for now.